When did you decide to make real estate a full-time job?
So the thing is, when I got my license, like since I got my license, right, then I wanted to be a full-time agent, but I didn't, like usually people say, oh, if I'm going to be a realtor, I'm going to have so much free time. No, you're not. Actually, it's vice versa. Okay, so I mean, you don't. There is always a comfort zone for people, right? But when you go over this comfort zone, you understand that every time, step by step, you become better and better. And there is nothing scary, right? Like, and people wait for your help, actually. A lot of people really wait for your help. And in a lot of cases, you have to be initiator of this, like help.
All right, that's a very important question. As new
Mhm.
agents, confidence has always been a problem. What was the turning point in your career in terms of confidence? What helped you build your confidence?
My first transaction, just one transaction or one listing or one sale, right? And that's enough. And because basically you have, after you do a couple of transactions, one on a listing side and one on a buyer side, you basically know like how it works, right? So what needs to be done. And then that's it. You just have to be confident because you already run through transaction in, like, and I will tell you, every every transaction which I have, there is something new. There is always something new. Nothing is similar, right? If you did first transaction on a listing site and on a buyer side, that's enough to just jumpstart and be confident. Because if you think the next transaction is going to be something like scary, it's going to be the same, but going to be a little variation, and you solve the problem, go to the next one, going to be the same, just solve the problem, and you constantly learn something new.
As a new agent, what do you think is the best way for them to get the first transaction?
So I think you have to be very genuine in helping people, right? So um, I do communicate with a lot of people, and every time, like on my chats, or even like not on real estate chats, but if somebody asks a question about real estate, anything about real estate, right? Doesn't matter if like sale or buy or anything. It can be like, hey, I'm living in this apartment and there is like blah blah blah. And so I'm just looking up the answers for them and I throw
Mhm.
it in the chat as an answer. So like, because when I reply the questions, I either know the answer or I find out, like I read about it and I learn, right, in the process of. So, and people know me more and more as a realtor who ready to help. And even if it's not my transaction, some people called me actually and they asked me, hey, we're in this situation, what we have to do. And like, I just try to help them. And then they send referrals to me, right? Even if the original transaction where I helped them, it wasn't my transaction, so it's a lot of ways to do. Just be active, be willing to help people, be genuine, right? Like if somebody asks anything about real estate, just send them like links from legal, like websites about, like anything from car.
I remember when you first did your first, initially, you did some cold calls, correct?
Yes,
I gave you some numbers to call. Do you recall?
yes, yes.
Do you recall how you got your first listing? Tell us about it.
Cold calling is not my strong point, right? Like, and again, I was going over my comfort zone because I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna make these calls. This is horrible, and probably they're gonna be mad at me that I'm calling. So okay, so I called maybe like 10 or 15 call, I mean like 15 people. Five of them didn't, maybe, I mean like on average, I don't remember already. Five didn't pick up. Then I don't know, like maybe five like of them been a little bit, like one of them maybe was rude, right? And five of them like just talked to me a little bit and they hang up, right? But one of them who picked up, he was very unconfident. He said that he had a Redfin agent coming to his house, and then Redfin agent didn't explain him anything, and I think they wanted to buy a property as is. Redfin agent didn't follow up with him actually. That's what I remember. And they said,
Ah,
yeah, they said his house is bad and it needs a lot of
yeah.
repair. So when I talked to him and I told him like, let me just come to your house. So, and he said, okay, come over. And I came to his house and I said, your house looks great. I mean, like, yes, it needs repairs, but you have a huge lot. You have a beautiful layout. We're just gonna sell it, right? Like, I know the price which can get for you, but
Mhm.
you don't have to do remodeling. We just sell as is, but we're gonna aim to the certain price.
Yeah.
So, and yes, I got the listing.
Tell us how you showed empathy in that phone conversation.
Well, because Joseph, I mean, like my first seller, he was very upset, right? He called me. He said, like, "Oh, Redfin agent came, and then he left, and then so they didn't have money for the inspections." And
How
he
did you
said,
console him?
yeah, because he said my house is so bad. It's so bad. It's like it's like bathtub is leaking and that and that. And I say, wait a second, let me just come into your house, right? Like, and there is no bad house. Let me just come in, and I'm pretty sure it's just fine. Let me just come in and see it, right? And then I can tell you, like, if it's like, and then I came in and I said, like, your house is amazing. Like, it's yes, it needs repairs, but it's not because he was very down, right? Like,
Yeah, he
and
was down. He had a lot of credit card debt, so I think that's one of his
yes,
problems. Yeah.
yes, he was very down. I mean, like, basically, I had to talk to him for a while on the phone, uplifting a little bit.
You know, when we make phone calls
Hmm.
in any kind of sales, one of the best strategy of selling is to sell hope. If you can learn how to sell hope, you can sell a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
And how did you sell hope to him?
Well, because I told him, like, I reassured him, I know, and it was my first listing, but I even before getting my license, I know the market, right? I know for what price properties can sell. So basically, I told him, like, we're gonna sell, we're gonna aim for this price. You don't need to do anything. We're just gonna do like sell as is. You don't need to do like moving furniture. You don't need to paint. Just let's do it, right? Like, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna sell. And so I just reassured him all the time, right? And he was like, okay, okay. And I told him, you know, like I always tell my clients, you know, like I'm honest agent and I'm not going to take advantage of you, right? Like this is what we're going to do. I actually had people coming in cash, like much lower than asking price. And I
Mhm.
told Joseph, you know, like we're not accepting it because I know we can get higher, and we got higher actually. So,
Okay.
yeah, and he just trusted me, you know, like I reassured him all the time.
Let's talk about your performance. I know your performance went up every year. First year, how many did you do?
Five, maybe 5 or 7.
All right, all right. And no, no, about five.
Five, I think
What about
five.
second year? What you did? What did you do?
I did 10 maybe. I don't know. I
Eight.
don't
You
remember.
did probably did eight in the second year.
And the third is more, and then I
Third
know
is like
every,
what, 13?
yeah, and I
And
don't
then
remember.
I think it was like 18 last year.
I think so. Yeah, last year definitely was 18. Mhm.
Did I ask you to double your goal every year?
You did, but I'm not, you know, like I put a goal to double it, but then, yes, I'm somehow right now it's not even like I'm searching for it. It's just coming to me, you know, like because
Eh,
referrals, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's
do you
basically.
feel like leads are coming from all directions right now?
Yes, and you know what? And my biggest like concern right now to give less attention to someone uh, for my reputation, right? So I'd rather, you know, because my reputation is very important for me, right? Like if I'm gonna take somebody reaches me out, I'm trying to be always available, right? So that's the biggest concern for me right now. I want to take care of everyone and don't, you know, like be available all the time as
Let
well.
me ask you this.
Mhm.
Do you spend any money on advertisement this year, 2021?
You know what, the advertisement which I spend on is my some of my videos, like, or seminar advertisements on Facebook. So basically, if I have a webinar coming up, I just put the advertisement on the Facebook, and it's not expensive, but it's really worth it. Then even if I do organize like I do organize webinars, not only about uh, me, like how to buy a property, but I'm organizer of, let's say, last time I organized a webinar with trust lawyer, right? Like who creates trust for the properties. So, and she, like I prepared it and I advertised it for her, but then it's advertisement for me, right? Like because I'm a basically organizer and everyone knows me in community as a real estate agent who organizes these events, everything connected to real estate.
Let me ask you this. Before you became a real estate agent, have you ever done a single seminar?
I never did, and yes,
And you did, initially, you did a few seminars with me, right?
yes, and actually it did give me confidence as well. Couple of seminars because is again like you feel like very uncomfortable at the beginning. You just do first one, and then you understand that these people who are sitting in front of you, they really need help. Like they people reach out to me who have no idea how to, what the process of buying, right? So, and they do need help. Like this, the confidence you get, like first time you do it, and then second time you understand they all looking, for help, and you just provide this help to them.
Of course, of course. That is one way of gaining confidence is to speak in front of the public.
Yeah. So
Right?
I'm getting, like I'm getting better and better actually speaking in public. I have no problem if somebody pulls me out and say like, let's do a webinar right now, like in a couple minutes. I'm just, okay, there's my slides and I'm ready to, because right now I have so many stories to tell from my experience. Like I can tell like what's the process of buying, what's selling, what to
Of
do.
course, of
So
course.
that's why I'm saying just do first two transactions, like listing and buying, and that's it. It's enough for you to have a confidence.
How's your mindset in your first year compared to your mindset now?
Ah, mindset like on a goal or mindset on.
Mindset in terms of, usually the top producers, they have a certain mindset. I know one of them is a sense of urgency.
Yes, that's exactly what I do have. I do have sense of urgency, and I tell you why. That's why people reach out to me, number one, and that's why people work with me, number two. And I'm as an agent, when I call an agent and the agent doesn't pick up the phone, there is two reasons. He's a really bad agent, he's like part-time, or the agent who is really, really busy and he will call you back. He will definitely call you back in a couple hours or he will reach you in a day. So
Yes.
that's why like you do have to pick up your phone all the time. And in I just like I explain you why, because sometimes the buyers, like they will say, okay, we'll work with you, blah blah blah, and then they go to open house and they text you or call you and say like, hey, we just see this property, we want to submit for it. And if you don't reply, I mean, what kind of agent you are, because you're missing an opportunity to, first of all, you let them down and you let yourself down, right?
Yeah,
So
one thing I see, one common trait amongst all the top producers, you, Gene Riley, Judy Shu, one thing in common, not just three of you. I mean, there were agents that left us in the past. They have something in common. Their sense of urgency is very high level, at a very high level. I mean, here's your cell phone. I have to admit, uh, unless I really put myself at a higher level of sense of urgency, I don't pick up my cell phones as frequently, so I have missed calls. Okay, but if you want to be successful, how important for you to pick up calls and return phone calls?
Yes, it's very important. Like basically, I tell you a story. Like I've been even, okay, I went for vacation with my family to Hawaii. So, and I said like, okay, that's a day when I'm vacationing, right? But then my clients who've been looking for 2 months in Denville, they reached out to me and said like, hey, we found a property, it just came on the market and we want to see it, right? From Ireland, I actually, from Hawaii, I organized a showing and actually Maria helped me to show it.
Hmm.
So, and then I called immediately the agent and I said, can we make it happen? Can we submit preemptive? And she says, yes, submit preemptive. So I negotiated with her right there, right? Like right the same day. And I was like, with no Wi-Fi in a city, I had to drive back to submit my contract. I submitted and we got in like within like 2 days on the market, right? So, and my clients, they thank me a lot because I made it happen for them within 2 days, like being out, like not even like I've been like away, and even in my vacation they reached to me, and I didn't leave them, like, and they're very appreciative of that. So it's important, like if you can handle it, you just give it to someone who can handle it for you, and then but you can don't leave your clients hanging. Don't do that. Don't say like I'm leaving for vacation and I'm
Of course, you still have to balance it with your family life. Now, that's important too. That's why one reason why I decided that we should have in-house TC to help the agents out, and you want competent help, and that's what we want. We want consistent help, and with in-house TC, we know exactly what we're getting. Okay, and that should help you out in terms of your time management that you're sharing with our agents. Finally, what advice would you give the new agents, because a lot of them are still struggling to get their first deal?
Oh, okay. So for the first agents, I would say talk to your friends, talk to your family, find your friends to do first transaction. And I always tell, like just start being helpful to people, even if just be helpful, genuine, be genuine, just help them out, suggestions, some so try to hold open houses. Yeah, like a lot of people right now, they, like one agent reached out to me and he said like, can I hold your open house? I said like, whoa, 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 I'm gonna hold my open house, and I have my company's, like agents who can hold my open house, but this is my open house. So he reached out of from different company, and why he's doing it, because holding open houses, during an open house, you stay in the house and you see people, you communicate constantly, you can like reply questions, learn about people. A lot of people come into you and they say, can you represent me in this transaction? What do you say? You say, yes, I can represent you. Right? And then somebody agrees to represent you, you just reach out to me or to someone who is like agent more mature in the company, and I can help you to submit an offer, right? Like just even a little possibility, don't lose it. Hold open houses. Like this is a way to stay at the open house, talk to people. Just a lot of people reach out to you and say, can I submit with you? Just try doing it. And yes, do Kenny is a big support too. I mean, like I always, when people ask me about my company, I say like, we're not big, but we have amazing team, right? Like I'm not like Compass, where I try to reach my broker like multiple times and I can't reach him. My broker is like reachable all the time, and like he helps me all the time. I'm trying to sell my brokerage, okay? So, and I was like, what? No, it's true. It's true. It's very
Yeah, by all
beneficial.
means. I've been
It's
telling all of my agents, one of the best selling point, you have a broker who's an attorney,
yes.
okay? What better resource are you gonna find? Anytime you have a
I,
legal question, all you gotta do is to pick up the call and call Kenny. He'll answer your call, right?
Yes, and this is a really big thing, like a lot of it's a very beneficial, and I explain why I'm bad. I mean, like my brokerage is bad. I'm just selling my brokerage literally. I sell like because I mean, like my broker is attorney, and he's like with me always on the phone. I can always reach him in a day, and he can help me. So it's like it's never gonna be like in a big brokerage where you can't reach someone.